Okay, good morning and welcome to Table Enabled Shulchan Aruch Yomi. We're doing Siman Kuf Yadal 114 today. Din Haskaras Haruach Begeshem Vital. We're in the middle of Sukkot over here. Usually the halachas are not tefillah are not directly related to the time that we're in right now, but this Siman is directly related because it's starting on Shmini Atzeres Simchas Torah, the same day here in Israel. We're going to start to say, Mashiv Haruach Omer Geshem. We'll ask for rain. What if you left it out? This is a very common problem. People have very difficult times remembering to say this. I know when I was in America, they had one of the dancing. They used to use a dance in Hakafos during Simchas Torah. They would dance and they would say, have a song, Mashiv Haruach Omer Geshem. They would start and they repeat it. They repeat it 90 times or 101 times. We'll see at the end of the Siman, Machlokas Achronim. And therefore, once you repeat it 90 times, then you don't have to worry about saying it because it's considered chazaka that you've changed your normal manner of your subconscious repetition of Shemona Esrei. So it's considered, even if you forgot, we assume you said it. We'll talk more about that at the end of the Siman and also more in Ian to lean on. Let's get started. Aleph, Maschilim Lomar Bracha Shnia, Mashiv Baruch Mer Geshem. You start to say, Mashiv Baruch Mer Geshem, Tfilas Musaf, Shal Yom Tov Achron, Shal Chag, Tfilas Musaf. Right? First, usually the person's supposed to make a hachraz, or the Gabbai makes an announcement right before Musaf. Remember, he makes a clap on the bima and he says, Mashiv Baruch Mer Geshem. Vein Poskin at Tfilas Musaf, Shal Yom Tov Arishon Shal Pesach. You say Mashiv Baruch until the first day of Pesach. Now we'll discuss until you say the Musaf of the first day of Pesach, or don't you? It's actually we'll have to clarify that. The reason that you say it in Musaf of the last day really should be the first day of Sukkot, except because the Gemara says that having rain during Sukkot is considered to be a klala. It's a bad thing, so therefore we wait till the end of Sukkot. Shmini Atzeres to say it. Beis. Also, the Haskar Geshem Ad Shiach Shlech Sibur, like I said before, he has to make a clap on the bima. He has to mention it. You can't say it before that. Musaf Machris Hashamash. Before they start Musaf, that's what he does. Mashavura, he announces Mashavura Kadesha Sibur Yaskiru Betfilasam Chainog, and that's the minhag. It's to announce it. Hilkach Afim Hu Cholo on us. He can't come to shul. He's sick, or for some other reason he's in jail. I don't know. He couldn't come to shul. Yakin Filasal Tfilas Sibur. Whenever the main shul in that community, I know there's 100 shuls in every community, but I would say the main shul in that community and their main minyan, whenever they daven, the most people come to that minyan, you go after Rov. Once he announces it, you shouldn't, if you're davening at home and you want to say Masha Ruach Amar Geshem and Musaf, you have to wait until after he has made that hachraza, even though you don't know what time, you have to estimate what time he probably made that announcement. Also, the Shliach Sibur, either hachraza, either announcement, or the Shliach Sibur in his repetition of Shemona Esrei, he mentions Masha Ruach. Yodea, Shehechir Shliach Sibur, if they made an announcement, Afal Pi Shehu Lo Shama Masker, even though he didn't hear it directly, he can say it. When we come to Balabes Agnes Sibur Eschil Yispal, you come late to shul, they're already down in most of Yispal, Yask Afal Pi Shehu Lo Shama Til Sibur. It doesn't matter whether you actually really heard it with your own ears, it just has to be that there was an announcement. You can assume there was an announcement, that's the minhag. Gimel Maro Masha Ruach Mosachama. You said Mashav Ruach in the summer. Olam Rubi Mosai Geshamim. Now, Dafka Mashav Ruach. We'll talk about more in Geshem in a second. Olam Rubi Mosai Geshamim. You didn't say Mashav Ruach in the winter. Eimach Zirno. So Mechein Betal. Similarly with the words Tal. Here in our Yisrael, you say Morid Atal during the summer. If you say it during the winter, although it's Kiru Mosai Geshamim, you don't say it in the summer. Eimach Zirno. So it's the Bnei Sfarad according to the Shulchan Aruch. We don't mention Tal, so the second half of this halacha is irrelevant. Actually, in Eretz Yisrael, we do paskin like the Shulchan Aruch. We do say Mar Tal. Rak Omri Mosach Chama Rav LaShem Lechalkel Chayim. Yesh Omri Shliach Sibur Posek LaHaskir with Filas Musaf Yom Tov Rishon Shal Pesach. Right when you stop saying on the first day of Pesach, so Aval Hakal Maskir Mein Poskin Ad Mincha. The Shliach Sibur. You can't make a hachraza. You're not supposed to make a hachraza for a klala. Geshamim is supposed to be a bracha. It's a bracha to have rain. It helps the crops grow. So to say we're not saying Hashem anymore, you don't want to make a hachrazah for that. So therefore, you let the shliach tzibur daven musaf, and him by not saying it, that's your hachrazah, and therefore vakal maskir mein poskan mincha. Therefore, the tzibur which said this Shmoneh Esrei before the shliach tzibur, so they do mention musaf of mincha in tefillas musaf. They do mention morid hageshem mincha. They stop shamu par shliach tzibur shapasuk tefillas musaf again because they heard from the shliach tzibur after they daven, and he stopped saying it's the next tefillah mincha. They don't say it. Dal yamar morid hageshem mosachama. Now, before we talk Mashi Ruach Amorid Tal. Those things are not so essential. Ruach and Tal are not the essential things when it comes to your crops growing, or we're going to see to have rain during the summer is actually a klal, is a bad thing. More Morid Hageshem Mosachama. You said Morid Hageshem during the summer, Machzir also. You have to go back. You have to repeat Shmoneh Esrei. It's a bad Shmoneh Esrei. V'chos Rosh HaBracha. Right, you go back to the beginning of the bracha. Now, going back to the beginning of the bracha, we'll see. In the beginning, it was supposed to be said in the second bracha of Shmoneh Esrei. Once you finish that bracha and you started the third bracha, you have to go back to the beginning of Shmoneh Esrei because the first three brachas are considered one bracha. If you finish the bracha, you go back to the beginning of the tefillah. Even in places where you need rainfall during the summer, some places you need rainfall. It helps late growing crops. It helps them grow. Mr. Geshem. So because really you're supposed to say morid tal, it's still considered to be a curse because you go after most of the world. Most of the world it's a curse. So even if you mention tal, but you mention geshem also, again, like I said, to say geshem during the summer is a bad thing. I love it here in Eretz Yisrael. It doesn't rain during the summer at all. In America, it does rain in parts of America, at least in New York where I'm from. It does rain during the summer a lot. It's annoying because you don't always have good weather. Here in Israel, 6 months of uninterrupted great weather. It is very hot. It's a dry heat usually in most parts of Israel, at least where I live. So it's pretty good. It's hot, but it's not that much hotter than America. America is more humid, at least. Tel Aviv is more humid, but here near Jerusalem, it's pretty much a dry heat. But you're not getting rain. I like that. So during the winter, if you don't say morid hageshem, so you have to go back. See, that's another benefit of living in Eretz Yisrael, is that the minig is similar to tal. So you don't ever have to worry. I'm never going to have to worry. I never have to worry after Pesach, right? Maybe I didn't say. Maybe I'm sorry. I never have to worry right now after Shmini Atzeres that I say Mashar Geshem because I'm saying morid tal the whole summer. So morid tal helps crops grow a little bit. They keep the they barely keep the crops alive. So therefore, as long as they say morid tal, it's okay. So with the Eved, if you say tal, morid tal, which I'm saying the whole summer, and there's a chazak, there's assumption I'm saying it, so therefore I don't have to go back. So I don't have to worry like people in America have to worry if they say Mashar Geshem. That's why they have the minute to do that dance where they're saying it 90 times. We don't have to do it in Eretz Yisrael because we say morid tal. So if you didn't say morid hageshem and you started the next bracha ata kadosh, you have to go back to the beginning because all three brachas are considered, the first three brachas are considered one bracha. Even if you mention, right, you finish it, you mentioned it, you're about to finish Mechayim Mesim, Baruch Hashem Mechayim Mesim, right before the bracha, you remember, you say it, Yomer Makom Shenizkar, you say it in the middle. I always thought you have to go back to the beginning of the bracha. You don't go back to the beginning of the bracha. You just say it right there in the middle. You didn't even finish the entire bracha, Mechayim Mesim. And it sounds like even if you waited it more than Token the Dibur, Ein Sarach Lachzor, because you're still considered part of that bracha, and therefore you just say more Mashar Rachman Geshem right there. Without the chasima, without saying like I've said before, the Ramah explains the first three brachas are considered one bracha. You made a mistake, meaning you said Atak Kadosh. You didn't say Mashiv Ruach. You go back to the beginning. Whether it's a private shmon, let's say, or the tefillah the shtel sibur zayin. Whenever we say you go back to the beginning beginning of the bracha you made a mistake. Now the reason he talks about it in general because we're also going to talk about in the bracha of Berachas Hashanim, where you say, you also make a change, and you say, instead of during the summer you say V'sein bracha, during the winter you say V'sein tal matar li bracha. Matar is a geshamim also. So you make a mistake, you go back. That's the middle of Shmona Esrei, so you only have to go back to the beginning of that bracha. The first three brachas, if you don't say Masha Baruch Hu in the second bracha, you have to go back to the beginning of Shmona Esrei. Hani Mila, this only applies to Shogi if you did it by accident of amazing Miskam and Chozel Rosh. If you got angry at Hashem, you did it on purpose, so then Chazal penalized you have to go back to the beginning. Obviously, did tshuva, otherwise, well, you're not davening on Shmona Esrei. Chet, most achama, in this stopping, let's say this happens very often, right? During the summer, you're not sure if you said Mordei Geshem not. Right? You were saying Mashrach Mordei Geshem the entire winter. This does apply in Eretz Yisrael. Maybe you said it. Geshem v'sarech lachzor. Like I mentioned, Geshem during the summer in most of the world is considered to be a klala. So therefore, you have to, if you're a mesupach for 30 days, the assumption is that the hergel l'shono, your normal way of talking, subconsciously, if you didn't think about it, you probably said it. The Ramah says in America, and where the Ramah lived in Krakow in Poland, they don't say Tal Mosacham in the summer. He doesn't know it's for Mordei Geshem. During the winter, Kol Shloshim Yom Chozer, he has to go back to Vade Amar K'moshe Ragil. Until 30 days, we assume he said what he's accustomed to. Re'lo Hizkir Lo Tal V'lo Geshem. He didn't say Tal or Geshem. After 30 days, or 90 Shmona Esreis, usually Shmona Esrei 3 times a day, so then you're on Chozer. Tet im b'yom harishon shel Pesach omer berachas ata gibor ad moed atal tishim pamim k'neged shloshim yom she'omer oso shalosh pamim b'chol yom. Like I mentioned in America, so you start from the bracha ata gibor, you start from the beginning of the bracha, and you mention Masha Baruch Hu Mordei Geshem 90 times, right, which is equivalent to 30 days, 3 times a day, 3 Shmona Esrei. Sham be'ilach imeno zocher hizkir Geshem hareyu k'chezkel shlo hizkir. Even if you're masubak the next day, we assume you said it because you already established a chazaka. Ve'eno sarich lachzor, you don't have to go back and repeat Shmona Esrei. Hagav v'chein l'didanim amar ad mechalkel chayim below Moshe Baruch Mordei Geshem shemaskir Moshe Hashem v'chein im amar b'shmini atzeres tishim pamim ata gibu ad Mordei Geshem im istap agachach im hizkir lo chazaka she'eskiro. Again, the Ramah reaffirms this, that both during the summer and both during the beginning of the winter, right, we can assume that if you said Shmona Esrei without saying it in the beginning of the summer after Pesach, or after Sukkot, you said 90 times Mordei Geshem, so therefore we assume, if you're not sure afterwards you said it, we assume you did say it, you don't have to go back in Shmona Esrei. The Mishnah brings a Chasam Sofer that says 90 times is not the correct amount of times you have to say. You have to say it 101 times. I'm not sure if 101 times is because 90 times is equivalent to 30 days, 3 times a day. But you also have on Shabbos, you have Musaf, where you're saying Shmona Esrei 4 times. So maybe, but that would only be 94 times. 101 is basically on Gemara and Chagiga, or the Gemara says that if you say something, you can't compare someone who learns something 100 times to 101 times. 101 times you remember much better. That's where the Chasam Sofer goes. I don't know people who have this dance and they say it 90 times or 101 times, depends if you're Machmir or Makel. But it seems that you can rely probably on the Makel opinion. And I say 90 times, then it's good enough we assume you said it. Stay tuned. This last halacha, is based on a Gemara Baba Kama, where the Gemara is talking about a different type of chazaka, about a sharamua, a famous ox that gores, right? If it gores 3 times or 4 times, according to Rava, so it's considered sharamua, not considered sharatam, and there's differences in halacha. You have to pay more money if the shor gores. So Rameir, who we hold like, says that it doesn't matter when the 3 times it gores, right? Gemara says if it gores for 3 times in a certain amount of time, and Rameir says kol shekain, if it gores 3 times in one day, then it establishes it as chazaka, that it's a muad. It's a shore that is a wild ox. So based on that kol shekain, certainly we do it right away. So that's the same idea over here. It's not a period of waiting 30 days. Even if you did 90 times in one day, that would be the equivalent of 30 days kol shekain. be even better than 3 times in 30 days to establish a new chazaka. That's where the Maram Rudenberg learned it from. I have a question on that, uh, a distinction, and maybe to say you should not be able to rely on it over here. We'll discuss that more in Thalinon coming up next.